Hi, I'm Airman McCarthy, and I want to know what you're doing to prepare for the winter season.
Bundling up in our winter clothes, as you can see.
Plus some shovel and some salt.
Well, you gotta change your tires and you gotta buy the warm clothes.
Changing oil, making sure I have antifreeze.
Probably leave early for work.
I bought a ice scraper and I keep a lock de-icer in my purse.
Trying to get as much cold weather gear as possible.
Getting a good updated recall roster, make sure I can notify my unit in case there's an emergency.
Many of you will be traveling this holiday season, and we are bringing you the top 5 things you need to keep in mind so you can safely return after the holidays. If you're going to be driving, go to the Navy Safety Center website and complete the Travel Risk Planning System, or TRIPS, to help identify and reduce risks before you drive. If you drink, have a plan. Don't drink and drive. Have a responsible designated driver or call a cab. Avoid accidental fires by keeping candles away from pets, children, and flammable material. Also, don't leave your candles unattended. When shopping, park in a well-lit area and avoid walking to your car alone with shopping bags. Look out for your shipmates. If you see someone showing warning signs that something is wrong, make sure you act. Enjoy your holidays. From the Defense Media Activity, I'm Petty Officer Jonathan Pancaw.
Safety is important for everyone behind the wheel, especially in weather like this. So even though you may be confident in your driving abilities, others may not be used to the same road conditions. So stay safe and stay aware of your surroundings.
An emotional day for students at a local school district after a deadly crash on a Kansas highway.
16-year-old Anastasia Bader was less than 3 miles from school when she tried to avoid a couple of deer and veered off the road. The accident would take yet another horrifying twist as a third vehicle came over the hill and before it could stop, smashed into all 3 girls.
And that brings us to New Hampshire, where we're currently freezing at the Team O'Neill Rally School. Now, this is the place where Travis Pastrana, Ken Block, and many other famous drivers in the United States learned how to drive on all types of surfaces. We're here with the North Atlantic Audi Club with their winter driving school. And, oh, look, how expected, an Audi. The new S4, V6 supercharged. We have reviewed this before, but not in red. We're here to learn the fundamentals of driving in the snow. Now, the US has a lot of problems. The one of most concern to me is the fact that we've got no clear, proper education for driving in any other condition but sunny weather. It boggles my mind that after 20 hours, a kid at 16 years old can get a license that could literally kill himself or other people on the road. It's sad to think that most of the world, especially Europe, the Germans, they look at us as terrible drivers.
First and foremost, start slow. We're basically trying to build skills up, and everyone has a different skill set. Depending on where you come from, the instructor will try and assess what kind of car you have, what kind of tires you have, what is your general comfort playing in the snow. Everyone has different skill levels. We've had 15-year-olds here, and we've also had 75-year-old women here. So what we're trying to do is basically assess your skill level and bring your comfort level up as you learn the vehicle dynamics and how the car is going to react to your steering inputs, your throttle inputs, and your braking. I know that a lot of the instructors are pretty passionate about that this should be almost mandatory training for anyone that lives in the Northeast area, so you know how to react to this stuff. I mean, we were talking earlier where we've had friends that were killed due to inexperience, teenagers that didn't know how to react to certain areas. It's not necessarily people that are messing around or drinking and driving. They just don't know how to drive, and it's one of the failures of a lot of the automotive, the education system that our teenagers go through.
Second gear the entire time?
I do this all in first gear in the on-road. It's going to give you more throttle control.
Yeah, I think that's probably best.
Just feel it out. Keep your hands nice and loose. When people start to white knuckle is when they start to get lost in their hands.
What's the most basic reason we do this, especially here in the United States?
They just keep making the driving laws more strict for kids instead of training them. In Europe, it's my understanding that you can get your license, but it also doesn't mean that you're necessarily qualified to drive in the snow, and within some period of time you are supposed to be required to go to some sort of winter or skid school, as you might call them, and they're safer drivers than we are. Yeah, you just don't want to panic and lift off the gas, because you're going to lose control when you do that, and that's what happens to a lot of people is they just react too aggressively and make the absolute opposite wrong move.
Kids that come here from driver's ed, 15, 16 years old, anything you have to unteach?
The boys are infamous for having a little too much computer game experience.
Yeah.
You know, they're playing Forza, Gran Turismo, and they think they can get it. The physics are pretty good, even on the video game type ones, but you know, damage is turned off. You know, and there's no consequence. You can't wreck Dad's car or whatever.
You look at what we're doing today. You think there's enough driver education out there? Do you think there needs to be more?
I think there's a big failure. There's a big gap. We're trying to fill that gap. I mean, we're the Audi Club, but first and foremost, we're really a driver education group, and we're trying to teach people, just because we love doing this, how to be a better driver, how to react to ever-changing conditions.
So, why are you here?
To try to get a little confidence about winter driving, following a 15-year bout of post-traumatic stress disorder from a car accident that I was in.
It took you 15 years to finally...
Yeah, it just never occurred to me.
Yeah.
that, you know, doing some sort of controlled driving situation might help calm me down.
Yep.
I was terrified. This morning, when we started out, my heart was going boom, 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 boom. And the first instructor that I had, Mike, was really good at calming me down, and I went really slowly, and it helped. And progressively, with each time through the slalom course, I got feeling a little more confident.
You think you'll be timid on the street still?
Oh yeah, because I'm still scared to death of other drivers.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they're unpredictable, and that was what,
that's what caused the accident.
Right, exactly. You can't control that, but maybe now I would feel like, all right, well, I'll just drive off the road, you know?
Yeah, well, we're here at probably one of the most famous rally schools the United States has ever seen.
Really? I didn't know that.
And you're surrounded by a lot of car enthusiasts who kind of live and breathe this kind of atmosphere. But you're not a car enthusiast.
No.
But did you feel welcomed?
Oh, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't make me feel like, oh, you're not an Audi driver, we don't want to deal with you. They were very, you know, what's your story? What are you here for? You know, what are you interested in? And
a majority of people that come to these events are car enthusiasts. That said, you will find one or two that were just in an accident and they want to get back in the saddle. They want to feel more comfortable behind the wheel. A lot of people email me, ask me, I have this car. What do I do to it to make it better, to make it faster? In reality, I think you should be spending your money on events like this. Invest in yourself. Become a better driver. A car, you know, they come and go. You don't.
Ow, we're living in the fast lane, baby.
Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Germany recently conducted their semi-annual seasonal vehicle safety checks.
Basically, we're just trying to keep people safe for the winter. We're making sure their cars are ready for whatever happens this year.
Inspectors checked things such as tire pressure, fluid levels, and made sure everyone's lights and horns were working properly. They also made a point to teach the people who came through as much as they could about winter safety regulations.
I am a single parent, and since I don't have automotive skills, I'm just really appreciative that there are people here willing to take their time out to do this, because like I said, I don't have that skill set, and I need somebody to help and keep me safe.
If you were to get the same safety check downtown at a commercial dealership, it could run you $75 to $100.
How much you guys charge?
Zero.
This is a semi-annual event, so if you missed it this time around, you can catch it every spring and fall. Airman Nate Gettleman, Pulaski Barracks, Germany.
A windy, cold snowstorm. Your base layer is typically a mid to lightweight wool or polypropylene long sleeve shirt, a mid to expedition weight fleece or wool shirt. That adds an additional layer of warmth. Beyond those, a wind shirt that's very lightweight. It just provides great wind protection. An additional insulating layer is a lightweight puffy jacket. Thinner, it can be synthetic, it could be down, it could even be a fleece jacket. It's not so heavy that I can't wear it while I'm moving. My ultimate puffy layer is a big synthetic fill insulated jacket or down parka with a hood. It's big, so it can fit over all of your layers, and that is what I put on to really stay warm when I'm hanging out at camp. One other layer for the top is a shell jacket of some sort, so it's uninsulated. The soft shell is not 100% waterproof. It's more breathable than a hard shell or Gore-Tex jacket. And I find that the soft shell is very functional in the winter when we're dealing with temperatures below freezing and we're not getting rained on. On our hands, we recommend our students bring 2 liner gloves, 2 warmer gloves or mittens, either fleece or wool, a big insulating mitt, and then a shell mitten to go over top of that. The liner gloves are because you always want something on your hands. The warmer gloves start to add some insulating layers because the liners aren't very warm. And then the shell mitts provide some waterproofing for a variety of activities. I typically bring 2 warm hats. One is a lightweight hat that I can wear while I'm exercising, and those hats can be made of pretty much anything, as long as they're not made of cotton. And then on a really cold day, I have a fleece neck gaiter. The ultimate compliment is having hoods in your various upper body layers. I start out with a very similar base layer to the top, lightweight to mid-weight, made out of either wool or a synthetic material. If you're a colder person, you probably want to bring an extra insulating layer, like an expedition weight fleece tight. I have soft shell pants, and similar to the top layers, you can get hard shell, which is like a Gore-Tex, or the soft shell, which is more breathable and less waterproof. And I find that the soft shell works really well in the winter environment, again, because we have freezing temperatures. Your top layer on the bottom, you have a big set of puffy pants, and they want to be big enough to fit over all of your other bottom layers. Cotton is the one material that we do not want to bring into the backcountry. When cotton gets wet, it takes a while to dry, and if you're having a wet layer of fabric against your skin, that's going to pull heat away from your body. Both wool and synthetic materials are great materials in the field. Wool is a natural fiber. I think it feels more comfortable against my skin. It has natural antibacterial properties, and so it doesn't get as smelly. Cons of wool, I would say, are that it tends to be a little bit heavier, it's not as durable, and the wool also tends to be a little more expensive. Polypropylene is a great synthetic insulating material. It tends to be pretty lightweight, it's very durable, and it tends to be less expensive than a natural fiber such as down or wool. I'd say the cons to polypropylene are that they tend to get smelly pretty quickly and they hold on to body odor. Down is a great insulating layer. It can be really good in a puffy jacket. One of the cons of down is that when it gets wet, it no longer insulates you. So a lot of times we encourage students to use synthetic fill materials that are a bit heavier but just as warm, but they do have that benefit of if they get wet, you're still gonna stay warm. Polypro or your wool base layer tries to move the moisture away from your skin so that it can evaporate and not make you cold. The first way to dry things out is with your own body heat. Wearing a wet article of clothing is your best way to dry it out. Obviously, if you're struggling to keep warm yourself, prioritize being warm and drying that wet layer out later. We have the majority of the layers that we've just talked about for rent. You can come to your NOLS course with not a single layer and be fully outfitted to head out into the mountains.